Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about Kingdom Animalia. Let's continue our lesson with some zoological expressions that you might face while studying zoology or while studying animals. First of all, symmetry. When two or more parts are identical after a flip, slide, or turn. What does it mean? It means whenever we flip, slide, or turn one animal, if two or more parts are the same, so they got symmetry. We got three kinds of symmetry, like bilateral symmetry, radial symmetry, and asymmetrical something. If it's bilateral symmetrical, it means whenever we slide one animal from the central part or we divide one animal to two parts, if two parts are identical or the same, as you can see this part, right and left parts are the same, so they got bilateral symmetry. If animal is like pie, it means we divide them into different pieces and each piece is identical, so they got a radial symmetry. As you can see in sea star, that each leg or each arm of that sea star is the same because they got a radial symmetry. Asymmetrical organism or an animal which is like lake symmetry. It means in each corner, in each side, or in each direction, if we cut that animal, no piece would be the same, so they are asymmetrical. Next expression would be some anatomical positions. Like first we can start with dorsal. Dorsal is the upper side or back of one animal, as you can see in snail and lizard. Second is ventral, the abdominal part or the opposite of dorsal structure. Posterior, it's the end of one organism or the opposite of its head. I mean, every structure which is opposite of its head is posterior. And anterior is the opposite of posterior. It's referred to upper part of something. Next, we can face with germ layers. It's a primary layer of cell. It means whenever egg and sperm fertilize each other and they make a fertilized egg, that fertilized egg might contain two layers, ectoderm and endoderm, or three layers, ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. It means after fertilization, they might make eggs with these structures. So if it contains two layers, so we can call them as diploblastic. Whenever one fertilized egg contains two layers, ectoderm and endoderm, it's diploblastic. Whenever one fertilized egg contains three layers, like ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, like outer layer, middle layer, and internal layer, they are triploblastic. So what is difference? Each layer that they are making got some functions. For example, the ectoderm or outer layer are responsible for making some pigment cells, neuron for the brain, and epidermal cells. The middle layer or mesoderm are responsible for the notochord that in back we got, in our spinal cord, for example, bone tissues, like tube cells for the kidney, red blood cells, and facial muscles. And the internal layer or the endoderm function is to make stomach cells for digestive tube, and pharynx and thyroid cells, and helping respiration. For example, lung cells are getting developed. So if one organism is diploblastic, it means one fertilized egg of one organism is diploblastic or contain only two layers, like ectoderm and endoderm. They can develop these stuffs, but they cannot develop these stuff like blood and notochord and bones and different kind of stuffs. But if they are triploblastic, they can develop all of these things. So diploblastics are a bit primitive animals, and triploblastics are advanced animals. Next expression is closed and open circulation. So circulation is a word or an expression that we can refer for the blood circulation or the blood movement all over our body. As we know, in most of animals, they got heart, and heart is pumping the blood, and this blood is like circulating all over body. So in some animals, they might be closed and in some animals they might be open. If it's closed, so heart is pumping blood to veins or blood vessels. That blood is not coming out from that veins. For example, heart is pumping blood to the lungs. Lungs are pumping it back to the heart, and heart again pump that blood to all over body. As we got veins or blood vessels all over body, so this blood is not coming out from that vessels. It's on circulating inside our veins, so it's closed. But in some animals, they got open circulatory system. Some of them might have tubular heart, and heart is just pumping blood to the body cavity. It means they do not possess any like blood veins, and blood is not running inside vein. Blood is getting pumped to the body cavity. Then again, body cavity is sending that blood back to the heart. So basically we got two kind of circulatory system, closed and open. In closed, heart is closed with the veins. Blood is not coming out. Blood can pump it to the arteries, and it's closed. From the veins it's coming back to the heart. But in open circulatory, heart is pumping blood to the body cavity. Body cavity is collecting back that blood to the heart again. Next expression, warm-blooded and cold-blooded. Some animals are warm-blooded, means their body temperature is constant. It means in cold and warm weather, they are like the same. Their body temperature is the same. They can live in both situations. But some are cold-blooded, means their body temperature is not constant. They cannot live in cold weathers. That's why they are like sleeping on that weather. Another expression is skeleton. Skeleton is a structure which is protecting our body, which is like supporting our body and helping us to move. And we got, like animals got three kind of skeleton, that endoskeleton, exoskeleton, and hydrostatic skeleton, as we can see over there. An endoskeleton, for example, which can be like human body's skeleton, which is made up of cartilage and bone, and its internal skeleton, like covered with muscles and skin. Exoskeleton is the outer skeleton, like the outer shell of some animals and snails, for example, or insects, and it's usually made up of chitin. And hydrostatic skeleton is a water pressure skeleton that inside some worms, for example, there are water or fluid which is surrounding all their muscles and giving them a particular shape and supporting their internal muscles. So now it's the time to classify animals. So scientists classified animals in two ways, like vertebrates and invertebrates. Animals with backbone, animals without backbone. Further, they divide animals without backbone into porifera, like they are primitive animals which are living inside water. Cnidaria, like jellyfish, which are also living inside water. Platyhelminth, kind of flatworm. Some of them are parasitic or can cause two different diseases. Annelid or segmented worm. They are like earthworm. Nematode or circular or cylindrical worms. Some of them also might be parasitic. Mollusk like snail and slug. Echinodermids like sea star. And arthropods. Most of insects are going in that category. Further, they divide vertebra or animals with backbone into reptiles like snake, apes or birds, fish or pieces, mammals, and amphibians. So that was all about characteristics of animals. Thanks for being with me till the end of the lesson.